It has been 10 years, and finally the GTA 6 trailer has come out. And with it, we get a staggering 1 minute and 30 seconds of brand new, never-before-seen GTA content. Now, I've seen this trailer 3 times already, and I've seen quite a few reactions from various YouTubers online, and the general reception for the trailer has been positive. I've seen quite a few people giving positive feedback, highlighting how great the graphics of the trailer are.
I think it looks extraordinary. This shit looks better than real life. I think the visuals are stunning here from the trailer. And if you're unfamiliar with GTA, this is something Mudahar mentioned as well, typically their trailers are pretty indicative of what the game itself looks like.
How good the animations are for the new characters, how it's great to see the first female character in the trailer. And I agree, it's great to see the first ever 3D, high-resolution, rendered female character in a GTA game that's going to have their story told for the first time. Now, the interesting thing, however, is that whilst everyone has had a very positive response to the trailer, when I watched it, my response was very different. I was actually disappointed. Now, I do understand that this is the first trailer, and it's a very short trailer, and 2 more trailers are going to come out. So they do have time to flesh out the content of their next trailers to make it better. But the first trailer just left me feeling lacking in terms of content. To convey how I felt about the trailer, I decided that I would have to actually show you rather than tell, because most of it is actually in what you see in the trailer rather than what the trailer tells. In fact, I'll emphasize that what the trailer shows and what the trailer tells are the 2 biggest issues that I have with it. I also, unfortunately, can't actually play the audio due to obvious copyright issues on YouTube, because YouTube is a draconian hellscape where even the slightest bit of audio, YouTube will strike you for. So I will play through the trailer. I will highlight briefly certain issues that I have with it, but at the end I'll have a much more structured diagram that will pretty much show you what I mean in terms of the content of the video, how the content's allocated, how much time the trailer spends on certain pieces of content, because there are certain pieces of content that I think are just completely irrelevant in the trailer and don't need to be there. There are certain things that are valid, certain things that I really like, but the vast majority of the content I don't think gives the trailer any help. It makes the trailer actually feel more boring, so to speak. But let's begin. So straight from the get-go, we get a great landscape shot. But this is also the opening where we get introduced to the main female character in the game, Lucia, who's obviously the first female character that we've seen properly rendered in high definition in a GTA game.
HD!
Now, when I first saw this trailer, I hoped that when they showed her, I would get a decent, at least brief introduction to who she is, like her motivations, because we get shown her in a prison, and I'll show you the sequence right now. And she gets asked by a criminal evaluator why she ended up in prison. Like, what did you do? Why did you end up in prison? And her response, to everyone that's obviously seen the trailer already, just bad luck, I guess. So she's in prison because of bad luck. So unlike GTA 5, where you get this really good monologue by the voice actor for Michael.
Why did I move here? I guess it was the weather. Or the... I don't know, that thing. That magic.
We just get, so what brought you into prison? Why are you a prisoner, Lucia? And Lucia's response, just bad luck. Now, the trailer started with a landscape shot, and we get another landscape shot, and the Rockstar Games presents And I will say that the landscape shots are very, very pretty. These are some incredibly beautiful pieces of landscape. You've got all this artificial intelligent life, like all these beautiful animals, beautiful trees, beautiful light. This is great. And then for the first time, we get to see what the new NPC life looks like in GTA 6 compared to GTA 5. And the NPCs look brilliant. The amount of animations that they have, the movement, the just taking away from the NPCs for a bit, the vehicular, like different types of vehicles. We've got helicopters with what appear to be landing devices to land in the ocean. You've got different physiques of NPCs. You've got different outfits. Like the amount of different outfits that they're rendering in is pretty impressive. The amount of different things that they're doing. Like you got to go over here, little like voyeur pervert taking a picture of that poor girl's butt. But the amount of different characters and emotions that they convey here in this scene is actually really good. But this is still nothing to do with what Grand Theft Auto is, at least in my opinion, which is a crime game about grand theft. We were introduced to Lucia at the start, and we just completely gloss over that, and we can forget about Lucia immediately, and we go straight to landscapes and then straight to NPCs. I understand that this is to establish the new location, but I would be fine if once this scene finishes and we got the establishing shots of the GTA 6's environment and what the characters look like, we would just go straight back to some more maybe minor plot details, nothing that spoils the game too much, just enough to know why is Lucia who she is, what got her into prison, and even some more on Jason, the main character. We haven't seen any of him yet, so we'll continue. Then we get some boats, briefly, some very pretty shots of boats and a plane, so we know that there's going to be boats in Grand Theft Auto 6, boats confirmed. It's not like we had boats in 5. Now, the water physics do look good, though. I will say that they have obviously got very good reflections, real-time reflections, and the scattering and everything looks decent. And obviously cargo ships, which later on in the trailer I will show, do actually seem to have their own routes that they take and move about, which is cool. But I don't think that we are going to be, at least most of the people who play the game, are going to be deeply concerned about where the cargo ships are moving and toing and froing, backwards and forwards, and are more focused on committing crimes and trying to get money to pimp up their cars and get cool outfits like the typical GTA hustle. And they're definitely more interested in Lucia and Jason, which they've been teasing for almost a couple of months now. Now, I've seen the trailer 3 times already, and the first 3 times I didn't realize that this character here even is Lucia. I just thought this was just a random shot of a woman in a car, because my brain couldn't put together that the main character at the start, this criminal that's in prison, this career criminal that guns down people, extorts people, sells drugs, smuggles, gun runs, breaks into cars, like it's what Grand Theft Auto is. I did not think that she could also be this character in a nice dress in a fancy car. And I also have mentioned that Jason barely shows up in the trailer. Now, I'm not sure whether this is or not, but I did spot him in the car filming, and I thought, well, if these two are supposed to be lovers, which the trailer shows at the end, this would have to likely maybe be Jason filming her for social media. So the whole thing that everyone's been saying about social media being a big part of this game could very well be, because this looks like it could be Jason filming Lucia. But he remains blurred because he's not the focus of this trailer for some reason, even though we should be focusing on the 2 main characters. But maybe trailer 2 will focus more on Jason. Now we get some really cool cars, and there are some cars here that a lot of OG GTA fans will recognize, because the game focuses on references, and references are great. I love references to previous games. I like the nostalgia bait, that's good, but nostalgia only goes so far when what is severely lacking is a story, character development, motivation, and stakes. If you want someone to play a game, you need to give the person watching the trailer a feeling of what stakes are these characters going to get into, what peril are these characters going to get to, and what am I as a player going to be able to fight my way out of. GTA 5 set stakes in the opening trailer. You hear Michael go, I try to get out of crime, but this is just how the city works, I guess. And then you see him with an AK about to do a robbery. That sets stakes. There's barely any stakes in this trailer except for the very, very, very ending. And then talking about content that's necessary in the trailer versus content that's unnecessary. When earlier we had too much landscape, and then I said that we should go back from the landscape to Lucia to focus on the two main characters, Lucia and Jason. We should be focusing on her because she started the trailer, so the trailer should focus on her. We can have brief moments of landscape, not too much. We get way too much twerking and nightclubs, which have nothing to do with the main characters and also don't even give you like a sense of where it's supposed to be taking place or what the point of it is. I know nightclubs took up a massive part of GTA 5. They were plot pieces for the storyline. Missions happen from there. Trevor gets one of the strip clubs in GTA 5. They're also a major part of the online player base in terms of social spots where people would hang out, places that people would try to ram cars into so you couldn't escape and would just frequently C4 and blow the hell up. So nightclubs do have a major significance in GTA, but I don't know how in a trailer they have any major significance apart from just going, hey, we have the nightclubs again. And in terms of gameplay and content, if I spend all my time grinding to get money in the game just to throw it away on some hooker or stripper in a nightclub, that's not really the type of gameplay or content that I want. Like, this is the focus. We're not focusing on Lucia, we're not focusing on Grand Theft Auto, we're focusing on a twerking woman, a guy throwing money on her, and some other women doing lap dances for other individuals, and this person that stands idly, that I don't even know if they have an animation because of how still they are, and then some drinks moving in the background. This person coming up, these two, I don't even know what the relevancy these two have. I think this is literally just to pan out the 1 minute 30 trailer. Like I said, it's been 10 years since GTA 5 came out, and GTA 5's trailer really gave the viewer an essence of what GTA 5 was going to be. Like, they introduced you to Michael, you felt a bit of who he was through his story that he briefly sums up to you. They show the crime, they show the cool loadout and gear that you can have to take into crimes. That was cool. And they also showed some car chases, like some actual police chases. If it's Grand Theft Auto, you should be doing a grand theft and being chased by police. But these two individuals, they may have some relevance that will be explained later in the following trailers or in the game, but this isn't Lucia, this isn't Jason. We aren't focusing on the two main characters, we're focusing on these two random guys doing a high five in a trailer just to take up the extra 1 minute 30 seconds to pan out the trailer so it doesn't feel super short. Because there isn't, for some reason, anything else that they could provide in terms of trailer content from Rockstar. So that sequence ends and then you get another landscape shot. So still haven't focused on Lucia. Lucia's back here, barely even like a couple seconds into the trailer, and we're here now 31 seconds in, and it's landscape, and it's a gorgeous landscape. It's a beautiful environment which we'll be able to actually obviously drive around and explore, and that's exciting. But I want to know why I should be, at least they should show, I should say, why I'm excited to drive through GTA 6. Like, show some cars driving around, show Lucia or Jason in a car they've stolen driving through the center. Like, you could have a car driving through the center of this scene, up this road, and have police chasing after it. That would be so much cooler. Like, could you imagine having a helicopter on the right coming in, flying down this street, and you've got Lucia and Jason in a car being chased by police all the way up it? That could give you this gorgeous landscape shot, while also giving the player an essence of this is what Grand Theft Auto is, remember? Getting chased by police down this gorgeous road lit at night with a helicopter coming after you and the police shooting at you. But instead, we don't get a helicopter in the sequence. We don't get police chase, which I shall remind you, GTA 5's trailer does have a police chase and a helicopter chasing a character that's running away, which sets the stakes. Like, you're going to be chased by the police, you're going to get shot at from helicopters, you're going to rob banks. So far, what I've got from this trailer is you're going to be twerking in nightclubs, you're going to be wasting your money, you're going to be doing really insignificant things like pointing a phone at yourself, and we haven't even got to that yet. Okay, so another very, very important two scenes are this scene here, which is the scene that actually shows for the first time the Ocean View Hotel, which is a very decent reference to previous GTA titles, so that's significance. You've also got the boardwalk, which has been in a few different GTA titles as well, which I've seen other content creators point out, and some really cool cars. And obviously you got the cheetah number plate here, which is a nice reference. And look at that beggar actually interacting with the civilians that are walking down the street. Now hopefully that's how they actually interact in the game when the game comes out, because Everyone's got high hopes for Rockstar because I've seen quite a few YouTubers say that what you see from a Rockstar trailer is what you get, unlike with, for example, Naughty Dog and their lies about Joel being younger and more present in The Last of Us 2, which they're completely lying about, or the trailer for Cyberpunk 2077, as opposed to what we finally got when the game came out. Hopefully with Rockstar, what we see is what we genuinely get, and we don't end up with NPCs that kind of just hobble about randomly, disappear, or spawn in a couple of feet away. This looks promising. Yeah. Another nightclub. I already said that nightclubs were a big part of the online space and the single-player campaign for GTA, being a central hub for both missions in single-player and in multiplayer. But we've already seen one nightclub, one strip club. That's 2 clubs, and now this is the 3rd time we've had a club in the trailer, and we still haven't seen any more of Lucia or even Jason yet. We haven't seen Jason yet pop up once. Another landscape shot. As I said, way too many landscape shots. So Lucia in a bikini. Now, one of the primary things about GTA is that the player has a goal in mind when they play the game. Many people online have different goals. Some want to get fancy cars, some want to get fancy planes, some want to start companies to become CEOs, some want to buy submarines and bomb people. In the single player campaign, people also, the main characters, had a goal. Trevor's goal was basically to just find Michael, which he assumed was still alive. Michael's goal was to make enough money to pay off the people that he basically screwed over by destroying a house that they owned. Franklin's goal was just to become successful. Obviously, the trailer is short and isn't going to be able to convey all that much in terms of storyline and what characters' motivations are. But we saw Lucia in prison. We're now nearly 38 seconds, nearly halfway through the trailer at this point, and we've barely gotten any motivation as to what Lucia is driven by. Is she driven by the need for money? Is she driven by the need for acceptance or social status? Is she driven by a want to escape a horrible situation she's in? Maybe she lives in one of the worst suburbs of Florida. Maybe she lives in a very criminal-filled town. But from what I get, her motivation is she gets a cool bikini with knuckle busters on it and what looks like a blend of Gucci and like Armani styles, which maybe she just thinks she looks pretty, and this is supposed to show that you can go from being the criminal to being wealthy and successful, and it looked good. I guess that's what you can get from it, but like, I don't think anyone that played online's main goal was primarily, I'm going to get enough money that I can get an outfit so I can boast my looks and grow my ego or my superiority complex or my god complex as I have more success and power and wealth over everyone else. Most people's goals were like cool cars and jets, and obviously the oppressor MK2, which was the bane of every single person's existence that played online. Nice little reference to Vice City. And then we get to the worst part of the trailer, which is the one that I have the biggest issue with. Lots of people seem to like it, going, oh my god, social media, cool, we have all these social media references. I hated this. Like, this is... Oh, sorry. Society has become such a parody in of itself that the real world is more of a parody than anything that Grand Theft Auto could parody. So instead of having a game that's making a parody of where we could end up or where we could head to in the future, which is what GTA 5 was a parody of the world as it could be. GTA 6 is a parody of the world as it is. This sequence with the crocodile actually did take place in real life. So instead of some interesting gameplay or mechanic that they could show, or like a drug deal gone wrong turns into a shootout, or some other characters that maybe have a connection to Lucia or Jason, for example, like Franklin with Tanisha, or Michael with Trevor, or Michael with Jimmy as his son. You could have like a dynamic that you could at least show briefly in the trailer just to give you some essence of, oh, so this is something that could happen. Like, okay, so when I play GTA 5, maybe Trevor shows up, or maybe Michael does some thing to try and guide his son in a particular direction that leads him away from the very low-life, generic behaviours that Jimmy spends most of his time doing, which is just middle-fingering his sister and swearing at a game all day and eating Doritos. But instead, what we get from the GTA 6 trailer is that we know there's going to be crocodiles in the game. Crocodiles are confirmed. Crocodiles are going to be in the game. You're going to be able to drive over crocodiles. Crocodiles will be robbing gas stations. Crocodiles will be trying to bite and nip at your little toes. Crocodiles are going to be everywhere. It's not like crocodiles were also in Red Dead Redemption 2. So we already had the crocodile mechanic made. The crocodiles were already able to attack the player. They were able to hunt. They had their swimming animations. They were already rendered. All Rockstar had to do was take the crocodiles, bring them over into GTA 6, and then build the massive world that GTA 6 is. And then more social media posts, a lady twerking on a car based off of a real scene of a lady twerking on a car. Absolutely relevant to the rest of the trailer. Doesn't show anything except that social media is going to be a part of the game, which I don't really get how social media and organised criminal organisations connect, because a criminal gang isn't going to be so public about themselves, except for, I guess, the hood rat culture and rappers that constantly post pictures of themselves online and videos of them with guns and drugs, basically just gloating about how they can get away with it. But yeah, this happened in real life. Rockstar just took a real life scene and then they rendered it in 3D and put it in the game. I don't know if these cutscenes are even going to be in the game at all. I think maybe 85% of this trailer isn't going to be in the game, because apart from this being a cutscene or something that like Lucia flips out their phone and goes, "Oh my god, did you see this post of a girl twerking on a car? It got lots of views." It has nothing to actually do with Lucia or Jason as a storyline or in terms of gameplay. Like, if the gameplay mechanic is, oh, you can play your female character, you can hop on top of a car, and then you have to do a cutscene where you have to spam the X as much as possible to get it to twerk, and then also press the triangle or the circle occasionally so she doesn't fall off while another person films you, and then you post it, and then other people in, I guess if we're speaking on GTA 6's online, which will be inevitably a thing, that maybe other viewers, or people in the game, I should say, that are viewing the content you post can like it. But then why do we want to add this extra dynamic to a game that's already going to have such a grind? Like, if you're going to be spending hours trying to get cars, hours trying to make money, hours trying to buy things, I don't think people are also going to want to be trying to organize all of that, like the online criminal career, but also trying to organize a online social media account that's in a virtual world. Like, trying to start a social media franchise in the real world on your phone is one thing, but trying to create a social media presence on a virtual phone in a virtual world is another thing. That's also a massive parody of reality. Cars doing drifting. So that's actually the only time where we do see some Grand Theft, illegal car drag racing and drifting. Nice little setup. Get to see the volumetric lighting, and the smoke looks really gorgeous in this though, like the smoke actually interacting with the lights bouncing, and you can see the headlights of the car actually just popping out there from the smoke. This is actually pretty, and the engine looks really cool. Hopefully this is more, we'll get more of this in trailer 2 and 3, and this is more what you'll be doing most of the time in 6. Because I don't really want to be spending the game chasing around people twerking, or spending my time in the nightclub wasting all the money that I just spent trying to steal to make a amount off. More social media, crocodile. As I said, crocodile's confirmed for GTA 6. Just a nice little, another reference to probably some real world security camera footage that happened in Florida. Got more NPCs and decent actual almost human-like reactions to the croc. Hopefully these are actually how they react in the game and they aren't motion captured or animated by Rockstar just to make it feel more real. But yes, crocodile's confirmed for GTA 6, second time. First confirmation, this is a second confirmation of crocs in GTA 6. Police body cam footage and what could be a ICE raid or a drug bust. Body cam is actually a very accurate trail to real police body cam footage. So that's a nice little rendering of what a real police body cam raid looks like. That does look Actually, it looks very, very close to reality, but I still don't know what this has to do with anything else in the trailer. Like, yeah, it's Grand Theft Auto and the police are going to chase you as the player, but this guy isn't Jason. This person isn't Lucia. Like, this has got nothing to do with either of them. We know the police come after you, but I don't think GTA 6 is going to have like a hyper-real body cam footage setting for when you play as police officers. Like, if you can play as police officers, that's the other question. Like, when I'm playing Lucia in 6, am I going to have like the option to, if I get chased and a mission fails, I get to see the entire mission played out from the perspective of the body cam on the police officers? Because that would be cool. But I think that all this is going to be is just more really hyper edited, really well animated stuff that's going to look great in a trailer to draw people in and make them want to buy it. But you're not going to get anything this interesting in 6. It's going to be more like a normal, typical GTA game, just with way better graphics. Another reference to another Florida man situation. This is real too. Naked man running around a parking lot. More people doing just random stuff on social media. This isn't Jason. This isn't Lucia. This is just a random dude. He may be as he looks, strangers and freaks style individual. So maybe we're going to get more strangers and freaks missions like in 5, in 6. And I was actually going to get, once we got further through a lot of these individuals, but I'll say it here anyway. Him and quite a few of the other individuals in this trailer look all like they're just straight up strangers and freaks. So hopefully GTA 6 isn't going to just be a ton of strangers and freaks missions and barely anything else, which could be interesting in its own right, but you need to have some variety. And if it's just you encounter a crazy individual and then they get filmed on social media while you and the other main character go do something else, or Jason encounters a crazy individual and you try to do a robbery and then someone films it and ends up becoming something on social media. I don't know how Rockstar intends to combine the social realm with what the actual player's doing in terms of gameplay, but I don't really think it's going to work that well. And for the most part, it's just a trailer crammed full of random individuals that are being filmed doing dumb, very ill-advised stunts and, yeah, typical strangers and freaks. Another stranger and freak. Another stranger and freak. Not so stranger and freak. This is just another actual real individual that was turned into a CGI character and put directly into the trailer. Kids playing in the backgrounds. Yeah, there are children in the background. Not going to know how Rockstar's going to address children when you can drive around in cars and run people over. I don't know if they're going to let you run children down. That could cause a shit ton of controversy, considering Cyberpunk 2077 had unkillable children and Skyrim had unkillable children. They're probably just going to be like stone walls that if you drive into them, they'll just stop your car. Or if you shoot them, they just get downed. So, not sure how the children are going to really work in the game, but yes, children confirmed. And muddy people also confirmed. Which, actually, speaking of muddy people, that does show that maybe, depending on the environment, they've got detailed texture renderings for how people get involved in the environment, which is cool. Also real individual, Axe Lady, or Jill Hammer Lady, I think is actually what she was called. Real person, real event turned into a in-game rendering. Now, the real Hammer Lady I won't defend because she was a racist and she said racist slurs at the individual that was filming her and was attacking a car, so just being a downright nuisance and destroying people's personal property. But one thing I will briefly say is that she most likely did have some form of mental illness or was clearly unwell to be having such a hate-fueled rampage of damaging people's property and just saying the most downright disrespectful things to other people. But Rockstar's thought on that was, let's take that individual that's destroying property and clearly has a mental health problem and we'll render her in a 3D game and put her in as a reference and a gag. Which is, I guess, depends on how you think about who she was and what she was doing, because she was a racist, so maybe it's like, well, fair play, you were a racist scumbag of a woman that was destroying people's property, so we shouldn't respect you because you didn't respect us, so we'll render you as a individual in our game to make fun of. Or you could say that it's taking advantage of a mentally ill person, because clearly this person's maybe somewhat more on the side of mentally ill, because this kind of looks like it could be a asylum medical one-piece dress that maybe is open at the back, but I couldn't tell. I think they're normally blue. people being hooligans. Finally, we've got Jason in a car that I don't think stolen, so it's technically not grand theft of an automatic vehicle, but he is being chased by the police, so they have committed a form of grand theft, which is the grand theft probably of a gas station or a supermarket or a small bank in Florida. But we also get to see Lucia and Jason together for the first time, 1 minute, 2 seconds in, and only briefly being chased by the cops. And then we go back to some completely irrelevant thing again, Weasel news of a car being turned over with what appears to be monkeys or things ravaging potentially the individual that's dead near the car, which is pretty gruesome, but that's exactly what you expect from Rockstar. So if there's more crazy stuff like that, that's actually going to be interesting and could be very cool to see in the game. But still disappointing because we got to see Jason and Lucia so briefly, and then we cut back to something that's still, yet again, irrelevant. We do get a nice nod to Weasel news, but it's just not anything of substance. It's just another sequence of random images and scenes. Nothing to do with what the actual game's about. Another reference to a real individual that's probably got nothing to do with the gameplay at all, because I don't know how this person arrested has got anything to do with Lucia or Jason. Maybe the game has an entire mission that involves him, and you two end up getting away and he ends up in prison. But as for this, it's just, so far in the first trailer, a reference to a random individual based off of a real individual in real life. And then there's the whole dirt bike sequence, and then another social media account, High Rollers, which I guess is probably just similar to all the social media parody that was in 5, but we just get this guy who, yet again, unlike Jason and Lucia, which we've known about for months because they're being teased, and there was the leaks, so we knew who these two characters were, and there was excitement for the female character. We were like, when are we going to see who she is? What are her motivations? How's she going to behave? Is she going to be like a hardcore mobster, or is she going to be a little bit more of an empathetic but still occasionally violent individual? Is she going to be the side arm to Jason, or is Jason going to be the side arm and Lucia is going to have more power? Like, what were the dynamics? That was what I think most people were interested in. Like, where are the cars? Where's the crime? Where's the theft in Grand Theft Auto? Where are there going to be the cool heists, which maybe heists won't be such a big thing in 6 because 5 focus on heists, and because it is Florida, maybe there's not going to be as many big major bank heists, casino robberies, etc. that will make the game's content. Maybe 6 is going to be more like smaller petty criminal crimes and acts that involve like robbing a gas station or doing a drug bust or just turning on someone, taking their cash that they earned during some other crime, or maybe just making money through drag racing or a lot of twerking, like we've seen a fair bit through the trailer, if I just comb through it. And finally, we get to the first time in a game about crime and committing some incredibly heinous crimes. That's what GTA 5 is. It's a crime simulator where you do incredibly calculated, incredibly vicious, and deeply intelligent robberies on banks, on casinos. There was even some weird ones that did like robberies, I think, online on like weird cyberpunk techie futuristic things. I don't even know. I barely played online a lot often. But the game is a game where you rob places, and it's been 1 minute and 9 seconds in, and we're barely actually seen like a single robbery or a gun get drawn or a single crime in a game that's about committing crimes. So finally, you get to see an actual physical hold-up. And they allude to it for 1 second. Then we go back to a car, which I guess you could technically say it's a Grand Theft Auto, but it's not a Grand Theft Auto because it hasn't been stolen, so it's just a person driving a car. Which is a lot of what Grand Theft Auto is. It is about the cars, so at least we get some actual footage of a car being driven by Jason. First sequence where we actually see Jason and Lucia together, which is good because we were being hinted to them for such a long time, and everyone's pointed out the Bonnie and Clyde kind of symbolism between the two of them, that you've got these live together, die together, ride or die mentality between the two of them, and that they're going to be inseparable and do crimes together and work together. But it seems like Lucia definitely probably has more of a main character role, with Jason kind of being the follower and her side piece, so to speak, because she seems to have much more of an influence in this trailer. Jason may have more of a role in the second one, but it seems like she definitely has the say as to what happens, what people do, what they do, where they go, who they hold up, and he pretty much just tags along. And then finally, the first robbery. And that's how it ends. Yep. Let me show you that again. So, entire trailer, mostly just cars, landscape, random people, cars, landscape. No crime, no grand theft, it's just more references to real life. Lots of references to real life, which have nothing to do with the game at all. Except for the game's set in Florida, so here's a reference to Florida. And then finally, Grand Theft Auto gives you 1 minute and 18 seconds into a 1 minute 30 second trailer. The Grand Theft. Of what looks like probably a small supermarket or just a gas station. And yeah, it's not even actually 1 minute 30 seconds. The trailer is 1 minute 19 seconds with probably 3 to 4 seconds dedicated just to the ending logo. And that's it. That's GTA 6 trailer. So yeah, that's actually all the trailer contains. Now, I've seen a lot of people talk very positively about it, like saying the graphics are amazing, the animations look amazing, and those are rightful points. Like, the graphics do look good. It's a very, very good looking game. The animations look amazing. Seeing people interact realistically and almost behave like humans is great for a GTA 6 game compared to the kind of just hobbling about NPCs in GTA 5 or earlier GTA titles. But watching the trailer and ending with your first thought being,
the graphics look insane,
probably says a little bit about the lack of any other content in the trailer, because I would have thought that when you finish watching the trailer, your takeaway would be like, oh, can't wait to play that, or oh, I can't wait to do this thing, or oh my god, she's such a badass, or oh my god, he's such a badass. Oh, it's cool that they showed this little sequence because I can't wait to actually replicate that in the game, or giving the player thoughts on what they could do in the game, like watch the trailer and think, oh, I can't wait to be able to go to that location so then me and my friends can like inline online do a video where we drive around there or do stunts, or I can't wait to try and land a helicopter on that place. There was none of that. It was mainly just literally I just had to hover over it by accident, and yeah, women in lingerie, guy on top of car, girl covered in mud, woman with 2 hammers, nightclub with twerking, lady twerking on top of car, other nightclub, and lots and lots of shots of landscape, which the landscape is gorgeous. That's the one takeaway we can get. The landscapes look gorgeous. They have got a lot of animals. They've got a lot more people. The people are animated well. But in terms of whoever Lucia and Jason are, what they are motivated into doing that put them into prison, what was Lucia motivated into doing that ended up with her in prison, what's Jason's deeper connection to Lucia, why they want to commit crimes in the first place. None of that was covered even one bit in the trailer, except for the beginning, which was, why are you in prison? Lucia's response, bad luck, I guess. And then the very end, are you with me on this? Sure. I can't say that's a direct quote, but that's pretty much it. And then they rob a gas station. GTA 6 brought to you by social media parodying reality and reality parodying social media. Anyway, if you managed to watch it this far, thanks for watching. I'm curious to see if anybody else has the same feeling that I do about the trailer. Even if you disagree or you have different feelings, I'm just curious to know what people's thoughts are on the GTA 6 trailer. Considering what I've seen online has been mostly positive, I'm curious to see if the people that view this are still going to think positively, or maybe I've convinced you that the trailer isn't as great as everyone's making it out to be, or you can completely hate my opinions and you have an absolute right to do so. But regardless, I'm curious to know what your thoughts are, and you can post those if you feel in the comments. I will try to read every comment I can possibly read and respond to as many as I can. Thank you for watching.
surprised you with this trailer the most? How big the asses are. That surprised me. There's some big asses in that trailer. I mean, a lot of them. It's almost every ass in that trailer. Other than